Welcome to the final round of Night Mode. Hey, I'm Olive, your host here at Versus, and tonight we're going to be battling the three winners against each other from Part 1 and Part 2. Here we have the OnePlus 12, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the Vivo X100 Pro. Let's start testing and see which one will be crowned king. To make sure we don't have too much shake or blur when taking photos and videos, we've placed all of the devices on a tripod. But before we start, I want to thank Hide Me VPN for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out the link in the description to get your first 3 months free, but more on that later. As always, we'll be starting off with wide standard photos as we feel that's the mode that's used the most frequent. Also, in order to make sure we get the best results from all of the phones, we have set them all to night mode. I'm really pleased with the results from this first set of photos. All of the devices performed relatively well, with the OnePlus capturing the truest to reality image. The color accuracy is superb and it maintains the night feel we wanted by not lifting the shadows too much. Vivo has also delivered a good image with nice warm tones, and it is a bit sharper than the OnePlus. The iPhone's colors are off and the image lacks the nice warm hue that Vivo and OnePlus have achieved so well. However, the image is sharp and completely usable. As you probably know by now, we love to do a little blind test before revealing each comparison video to see what you choose without knowing the brand name. These photos were taken in complete darkness, so the results were definitely interesting. Many of you had a lot to say, and several of you even mentioned that Vivo's image looks like it was taken during the day. Nevertheless, the vast majority of you voted for phone A, Vivo. It managed to expose the subject very well along with the entire scene, which is impressive considering it was completely dark. The iPhone took second place, followed by the OnePlus in third place, with only a few points less. What a cool photo of the Berlin TV tower during dark hours. Although the OnePlus has a very dark and true-to-life appearance, Vivo's image stands out more. It's nice and sharp with just the right amount of exposure, and the colors look vibrant but not unrealistic. You can also see the stars in the sky, which is a major bonus. The iPhone's image isn't awful, but it's a bit too washed out, losing some details in the tower and the sky. Some stars are visible though, which is quite nice. A few stars are also visible in the OnePlus image, and it has produced a nice deep dark sky that really exemplifies night mode. Here is the second blind test photo, and can I just say how amazing these turned out? There was a long debate about which one did best, but in the end the majority of you voted for Vivo. It has the right amount of exposure to show off details while still remaining a night shot. Its colors are nice and vibrant, and the details are sharp. The iPhone does have some nice details, such as the visible stars, but the sky is a bit too washed out once again, which isn't ideal. You voted the OnePlus in second place due to its nice dark sky, which is truer to reality. Also, shout out to TechWids, who got the order 100% correct. Good job, very impressive. Moving on to ultra-wide photos, these are super great at catching more of the scenery in, so let's see what the results look like. In this first example, the Vivo and iPhone look identical. I personally cannot see any difference, and I have to say that both look great. Unfortunately, the OnePlus has some noise present in the sky and hasn't illuminated the building as well as the other two devices. This was a pretty dark area, so I'm not surprised that all of the phones struggled. Although not perfect, Vivo has produced the best exposed image. It has managed to preserve a lot of detail in the building and the trees while still maintaining a night appearance. The iPhone and OnePlus both struggled significantly, but the OnePlus has done a slightly better job at exposing the ground and building, whereas the iPhone's photo is, in my opinion, unusable. However, in this next photo, the iPhone has definitely redeemed itself by producing a great looking image. Its color accuracy is the best of the three, and it's nice and sharp with good exposure in all the right places. Vivo's results aren't bad, but the image is a little too saturated, giving it a slightly unrealistic feel and making my skin tone quite orange. The OnePlus is completely underexposed, which is a shame, but with a few tweaks, it could become usable. Finally, we have this incredible photo of the Berlin Dome, and just look at the details in that water. Whoa! All of these photos are fantastic, and in the end, it always comes down to personal preference. The iPhone and OnePlus have a deeper, darker sky, which is truer to reality, whereas Vivo has gone for a very blue tone that some may prefer. In my opinion, the iPhone looks the best here, as it's nice and sharp, which really brings out the details in the building and especially in the water. The OnePlus is a little less sharp, but its color tones are extremely accurate. Let's pause for a moment and briefly talk about safety. A VPN keeps you safe online by turning your information into secret code and hiding your computer's location. This means no one can see what websites you visit or find out where you are. If that sounds like something you'd find useful, then you'll want to hear this next part. HideMe VPN is one of the fastest offshore VPNs with 24/7 support and cross-platform access. Enjoy 10 GB speeds across 2,300 servers globally. You can also navigate the web with a trusted ally, SmartGuard, proactively guarding against malware, tracking, ads, and phishing threats in real time. Plus, they don't store logs, ensuring your actions remain yours. Best part, you can start for free. Click the link in the description to secure your online freedom with HideMe VPN. Simple, secure, and yours. So now it is time for portrait mode, which is actually one of my favorites. I'm very excited to see how each device will perform and how it'll handle the edge detection, especially in dark conditions. Alright, but these first results are all over the place. As always, the OnePlus has done a good job of maintaining a nighttime look. However, the shadows on my face are very harsh, and while the colors on my jacket are very accurate, my skin tone is far too warm. Also, if you look closely at the top of the image, you can see that the sky looks a little patchy. My skin tone on the Vivo looks much more accurate, but it has oversaturated my jacket. The edge detection is also suffering on the Vivo, particularly right above my head. Unfortunately, the iPhone has done a pretty poor job overall. The image is grainy, parts of me are blurry, the edge detection is terrible, and the colors are totally off. Next, we have an example where every device struggled equally. Initially, I was drawn to the Vivo the most, as it has pretty good edge detection and is generally a nice photo. However, the more I looked at it, the more I realized that if I didn't know this was taken at night, it could easily be mistaken for daytime. The overhead light literally looks like the sun, and the image is too exposed for a night photo. The OnePlus has the best night feel, but its contrast is a bit too low, and there's a massive lens flare across the screen that instantly ruins the image. The iPhone could have been a good photo if the edge detection wasn't so incredibly poor. The OnePlus has bounced back here with a pretty nice result. I do wish the shadows were lifted a bit more around my face, but the image in general has a nice deep contrast, true to life colors, and good edge detection. Vivo's result isn't bad, but it's a bit too overexposed for a night photo, and the shadows are too lifted, making the image seem a little flat. The colors are also a bit too vibrant, especially on my jacket and the sky. Some may like what the iPhone has produced, but for me, the image is over-sharpened, with the colors being quite off, especially my skin tone. It looks washed out with an underlying green hue. It seems to be a reoccurring issue with the iPhone to have grain in its photos, as we see once again in this next image. The balance between the lights and darks is also a bit too harsh, and it's having some issues with edge detection. The result from the OnePlus almost looks like it was taken with a professional camera. It's sharp enough, but not over-sharpened. The colors are accurate with a nice warm skin tone, the sky remains dark and clear, and the edge detection, although not perfect, isn't bad. Vivo's edge detection is definitely the best. It managed to expose my face really well, but the image is generally a bit too warm. Now let's move on to video, which is super crucial when deciding which smartphone to go for. Starting with standard wide videos, we first experimented in a very dark location, and clearly all of the devices struggled. Upon closer inspection, it's evident that the Vivo has the least noise and grain, but it's still not ideal. Unfortunately, the OnePlus is far too underexposed with an extreme amount of noise, making videos shot in these conditions unusable. Next, we move to the street, where there is plenty of light from streetlights, cars, and buildings. Here, the iPhone and the OnePlus produce somewhat similar results, with the iPhone having better color accuracy accuracy, whereas the OnePlus has a slight green tint. This isn't a complete deal breaker, but it's not ideal. Vivo's video isn't terrible, but the extreme warm hue makes the entire video overly yellow. Moving on to a couple of ultra-wide examples. In the first one, both Vivo and the iPhone have pretty decent results with only slight variations, such as Vivo being a bit more exposed whereas the iPhone's blacks remain deeper. The shadows on the OnePlus are far too lifted, which becomes even more apparent when I move closer to the camera. This makes the entire video look very washed out, and let's be honest, it's not a good look. For fun, we tested ultra-wide in extremely dark conditions. We won't give points here as you literally can't see anything, and I personally cannot judge if one is better than the other. However, it's interesting to see how each device reacts when put into such extreme dark conditions. In this final ultra-wide example, it's instantly clear that Vivo has the most noise in the sky and generally has the tightest frame, which isn't convenient when you want true ultra-wide framing. OnePlus has captured nice deep blacks very well, and there doesn't seem to be any noise present in the sky. The video is also extremely sharp and crisp. The iPhone has done an okay job, and its colors look nice as they are not overly warm. However, they are not true to reality, as the harsh yellow street lamps gave off a very warm hue. The iPhone's shadows are slightly lifted in the sky, which detracts slightly from the night feel. It's time to have some fun with selfies and also front camera video. Let's see which one gives us the best results. Selfies are always fun to judge. For this first example, I went to an extremely dark area with no lights at all. The iPhone definitely has the most natural looking result, although it isn't the sharpest. It also has the best color accuracy and good skin tone. At first glance, Vivo looks nice as it's sharp with good details. However, it's way too saturated, and its extreme AI processing makes the image look overly artificial. The OnePlus doesn't seem to excel with its front camera, as this image is underexposed and looks pretty smudged. Next, I went to an area with quite a few streetlights, and once again the iPhone produced the most realistic photo, although it isn't the sharpest, but perhaps that adds to the realism. Interestingly, Vivo looks even more processed here despite the increased lighting. The image isn't terrible, but it's unrealistic and the colors are off. The OnePlus looks more natural, but there is a massive yellow tint on one side of my face, which isn't ideal. Additionally, the colors are generally too vibrant. Front camera video was rough. From a distance, none of the phones look good at all. However, the Vivo really surprised me because the closer I came to the camera, the better it started looking. I'm not loving the green tint it has over the video, but we can't deny that it has the clearest results, at least when the subject is up close. Unfortunately, the iPhone is very grainy the entire time, and the OnePlus is not only grainy, but also severely underexposed. So finally, let's summarize each category and see who the winners are. For standard photos, Vivo comes in first place, followed by the OnePlus in second place, leaving the iPhone in last place. Next we have ultra-wide photos, where the iPhone actually takes first place, followed by Vivo in second place and OnePlus in last place. However, interestingly enough, in portrait mode, OnePlus takes first place, then comes Vivo with the iPhone in last place. In videos, the iPhone comes through and takes first place, followed by Vivo in second place and the OnePlus in last place. For front camera photos and videos, the iPhone once again takes first place, followed by Vivo in second place and OnePlus in last place. And that means that it's a draw between the iPhone and Vivo, which means they are both crowned winners of our three-part night series. Crazy that a smartphone like the Vivo X100 Pro, which is relatively cheaper than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, can tie in first place for its awesome night mode capabilities. Very impressive, well done to both of these amazing flagship phones. So that concludes our part 3 series of night mode. We hope you found this review useful and that you enjoyed it, and we would love to hear your thoughts. Which one would you choose? Did you expect these phones to be the winners? Let us know in the comments down below. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2 yet, then be sure to check those out, and make sure to also subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. As always, give this video a big like if you enjoyed it, and with that being said, we will see you in the next video, and until then, take care.